He thinks this tattoo wearing dude who stands on the stage and shows off his tattoos, he is he's a rank amateur. He doesn't know what he's doing. And he's doing this stuff, I think, principally because this is his belief that we extol blacks, we extol Native Americans, we extol whomever that isn't white at a discriminating point to white people. Therefore, we will not do that anymore. The white person and the black person will be up there, but only because they were in the chain of command. There'll be no special column saying, this is a testament to our liberal democracy. Look what we've done with Colin Powell. Look what we've done with the code talkers and such. Look what they did for us. No, they're up there only because they were at that particular point in time recognized historically, and not because they were Native Americans or blacks or whatever. That's what I've been told anyway. I suspect they're going to push that a little bit harder than that explanation indicates. I know that the people who surrounded the Republican Party at the time I was serving in the Republican Party thought Colin Powell was a rhino, a Republican in name only. And it didn't help that in 1994, he was Bill Clinton's biggest threat. And he was seriously thinking about running for president of the United States. And like Dwight Eisenhower before him, he was being recruited by both parties, Republicans and Democrats. And when he made his decision in November of 95 and said he wasn't going to run, Bill Clinton breathed a deep sigh of relief because Colin Powell would have beat the crap out of him. But he just didn't want to run. But ever since that time that he refused the Republican nomination, he's been pretty much known as a Republican in name only. Besides, he worked for Daddy Bush, and Daddy Bush was a reasonable man. And you can't be a reasonable man if you're a Republican. Believe me, I know I'm a Republican.
Well, in closing, Mr. Wilkerson, where do you think all of this is going in the next 2 to 4 months concerning the NATO war against Russia in Ukraine, the U.S.-Israeli moves against Iran and Yemen, and the so-called American pivot to Asia?
I think we're going to make grudging progress on Ukraine, and it will depend on just how much Trump really does understand Putin. But it won't be anything flashy, and people will continue to die in that time frame, unless, of course, the Ukrainian military does totally collapse, and we do nothing about it. And Starmer, Macron, and Merz in Germany and others do nothing about it. With regard to Israel, I think Israel's committing suicide. Whether that suicide will be apparent to all and sundry within the next 3 to 4 months, I don't know. I kind of think it might be. And what does that mean? It means that it will no longer be tenable for a Jewish state to exist in the heart of Palestine at the eastern end of the Mediterranean between the river and the sea. The international community, the other people in the world who are concerned about this situation, like China and Russia, some real hard statements have been coming out of both countries with regard to the plight of the Palestinians. And it's not just rhetoric anymore. You better believe if we went to war with Iran that they would be backed by Russia. There's no question in my mind. And what does that mean? Does it mean more fighter squadrons like the one they are in new equipment training right now in Iran with the latest state-of-the-art Russian fighter planes? Take that, Israel, next time you go up in the air. Difficult to say, but I just don't think Israel is long for this world in its present configuration. Or maybe the present configuration is not long for this world in terms of Netanyahu. Who replaces Netanyahu, I think, is a huge question. Is it going to be a Ben-Gvir or a Smotrich type, or is it going to be a more level-headed person? And is that level-headed person going to try to reverse gears a little bit and get it? But I would suspect that even that feckless organization called the United Nations might kick Israel out. They might kick them out. Now, we'll do everything we can to stop that, of course. But the General Assembly alone might vote for it. And then that's That's essentially the same thing as kicking them out. And I would defy Guterres, the UN Secretary General, to let them come to meetings after that if the General Assembly does vote on it. I wouldn't let them come. So you've got a real pariah state developing there. And what was the third part of your question?
What will come of the U.S. pivot to Asia, provoking China?
Yeah, I think Trump's negotiating strategy here, if you will, is putting pressure with tariffs and other things on China. But I think ultimately he's going to accommodate China in some way or other. And he wants a good economic relationship. And he understands, I don't know if he understands intellectually, but I think he understands intuitively that right now we're experiencing a huge power shift. The power shift of the last 2,000, 2,500 years, whatever, was from the heart of China across Central Asia, into Europe, into Western Europe, into the British Empire, into the American Empire, and the East sort of withered. The East is back big time, China being the magnet thereof. It's been coming back for some years, but it's really back now. And, 1 in 5 people on the earth is Chinese, 1 in 5 is Indian, 3 in 5 are Asian, $70 trillion is in that part of the world. You can't fight that, and Trump has to know that. He has to know that. So you got to accommodate that, and you got to start to work with it. I think that's what he wants to do. Now, whether or not the deep state will allow him is another matter altogether.
So the global South, and 1 in 5 are African also, because there's, I was looking at the census, Africa has like 1.5 or 1.6 billion people on the continent. So,
in other words, lots of people ain't American.
Once again, Mr. Wilkerson, you hit the ball out of the park. I want to thank you so much for joining me on the platform. I could have you on here all day long asking you questions. Thank you so much.
I appreciate your having me.
Yeah, thank you, and be blessed, be safe, and you'll hear from me shortly.
Thank you. Take care. Good luck.
All right. Everybody listen, hit the like button. It's free. I told you we're going to bring you some powerful guests. Next week, we have my guy, Carl. We were supposed to do the show tonight, but something came up for me. So we're going to have Carl Czar back on the platform first part of next week. We got a Patreon and channel member stream coming up, I believe, this weekend. I'll be over on the New Atlas with my guy, Brian and Angelo this weekend. So check us out. I might come back and do a stream sometime today or tomorrow. I want everybody, listen, to look at each other like this. Do right by others, not because there's some material gain or because there's some accolades or some applause that you get behind that. Do right by others because it's the right and humane thing to do. It's the godly thing to do. All right? Because remember, even when no one else is watching, God Almighty is watching you. He might sit high, but as my mom always taught me, he looks low. And that's enough to keep me going on the straight and narrow. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me on the most powerful platform for truth on God's green earth. This is your platform for education, elevation, and edification. This is the Red Pill Diaries. I'm your host, your brother, and your friend. And remember that I love each and every one of you if you love truth. But know that the love that I have for you will always pale in comparison to the love that God has for you. Until we next speak again, stay strong, stay true. But remember to always stay righteous. Hey, mama, your baby boy loves you more than life. Thank you, everybody. Deuces. We're out of here. Peace.
Told you to walk away. That was my first and last mistake. I'm blue without your face. But what can I do? 'Cause I'm just a sinking ship, and you're just a pair of lips that I've lost in the moment. All I want is for you to come back. Now I'm calling.